Welcome back to Going to Ground. Here we are on a soggy Tuesday morning in Advent. Me and Avebury, me and Effie in Avebury. Avebury's a great name for a dog, actually. That would have been a good second choice. Avebury. Well, maybe the next one. Anyway, here we are. And I was just reflecting, walking up here before the day's work begins, on a little moment yesterday in Salisbury Cathedral, where I am on Mondays. I am in Salisbury on Mondays and have time in the office. And if I can, I pop into the refectory, have a bowl of soup, little routine, and a quick prayer in the Audley Chapel, which is this tiny, like a pocket cathedral, right in the midst of the choir of the cathedral. It's set into the cathedral. It's got its own fan vaulting. I did a short film from there a few weeks ago, didn't I? It was a chantry just before the Reformation, actually, for a former Bishop of Salisbury. Beautiful in its faded turquoise and colouring, and it's just there's a mood in there which I love, and I think the size assists that feeling of being in a, well, as I put it, I think when we filmed there, in like a jewellery box in stone anyway. And I just had a moment in prayer, knelt down on the little kneeler there, which for 30 seconds or so I had the most wonderful sense of equilibrium. There's a combination of beauty and gratitude and peace that I just wanted to stay in, and I concluded it early for fear it would evaporate. Do you know that feeling when you're in a moment and you don't want it to end, and you worry that if you're too self-conscious about it, something will be lost? But it was no more than a minute, and certainly probably half a minute, of just sitting there, consciously in God's presence, offering life as it was to Him. And I know it's a privilege to have access to the cathedral like that, and that was part of my prayer, really, was gratitude. But I was at the centre of something. It was as if it's the same feeling as, it was like the ground had been prepared, the soil had been dug over, the kneeler had already been knelt on. A bit like when you take pastry from the fridge an hour before rolling it out and it's softened up and ready, you know? Or when red wine is softened in the air by opening ahead of drinking it. There was a readiness, a suppleness, if I can put it that way, to the soul of that place, that meant I could just slip it on and go into it straight there, into a place where prayer had been made possible, loosened up. It's hard to put it. I think you may be able to grasp what I'm trying to express. But it was like a human conditioning by the hundreds and hundreds of souls who'd prayed in there, that allowed my prayers to get going really easily, because it wasn't about my effort. It was me sort of just slipping into something that was already going on, had been going on there for hundreds of years, and therefore I was just taking my place and finding my place within it in that moment. And I felt I could dwell there, and it was very good, and I didn't want to leave it. And I look forward to returning. That's all. Can't quite put it into words like most things that matter. I hope that you have, from time to time, experiences and places like that to which you can resort. God bless you as you go to ground.